We're in Brussels, but we're not in the Parliament, European Parliament now. It's very important. MEHA. You see, what's MEHA? It's Make Europe Healthy Again. Well, we heard that. We heard that. We heard Make America Great Again. You remember MAGA? It's still there, going very strong now. And now MEHA, well, it's just MAHA first with Robert Kennedy Jr. Make America Healthy Again, and now Make Europe Healthy Again. Robert Malone, hello. Glad to meet you. We are now in Brussels in the Hotel Renaissance. And I want to introduce you. I'll speak in French now. Robert Malone, il est licencié en sciences de l'Université de Californie, il est master en biologie, il est docteur en médecine, et il est biochimiste, virologue, immunologie et technologie ARN. Robert Malone, you were one of the people that, invented, with some experience about the transfection of ARN messenger in the cells. And you were co-inventor of the, and correct me if I'm wrong, of the vaccines of ARN-M. That's right? Or it's
So when I was at the Salk Institute working for INDEPENDANT, which is a gene therapy laboratory, I had a series of discoveries when I was 28 in the late 1980s.
Right.
And I filed the initial patent disclosures for the use of mRNA as a drug and for the use of mRNA as vaccines. And then I left the Salk and joined a startup company called Vical in San Diego. Vical, right yes. Across the street, where these concepts were reduced to practice, and you showed that one could use mRNA to produce a vaccine response in an animal. Mm-hmm. So the truth is that I am the original inventor, but many people since then have improved the technology. And in particular, the group at the University of British Columbia, mm-hmm. under Dr. Peter Cullis, are the ones that really had the breakthrough in formulation. Personally, my objection to the Nobel Prize is that it should have gone to Peter Cullis mm-hmm. at University of British Columbia because his advances in the formulation
right.
Were used by both BioNTech and Moderna. So okay. It's not the pseudouridine that is enabling. You don't actually need the pseudouridine, which is what the Nobel was given for.
Yes, yes.
What you really need is the formulation technology that Peter Cullis developed. So that there are many improvements on what I did back when I was 28 years old. It's a little bit of water under the bridge since then.
But Robert Malone, what's very interesting for us, we follow, I'm a complete amateur in that, but the thing is, you are the one to say, well, the spike, what do you say?
Spike was a toxin.
The spike was a toxin.
That was so controversial when I said that. Spike is a toxin. But
and you still say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A toxin is something that is toxic.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very simple. This is not controversial. It's fundamental. So I find it fascinating that the denialism that this is gene therapy, mm-hmm. but it actually is gene therapy. It came from a gene therapy laboratory. The same laboratory, the senior postdoc in that same laboratory when I was there, created a company called Crucell.
Crucell, how do you spell it?
Crucell.
Okay, Crucell.
Out of Amsterdam.
Right.
And Crucell is the one that developed the adenovirus vector technology that's used in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yeah. Which has the adventure we know.
It all goes back to a gene therapy lab. Uh-huh. So to say this isn't gene therapy, when in fact it is the use of delivery of genetic information into your cells to cause your cells to manufacture a foreign protein, which happens to be a toxin, spike, in order to produce an immune response. It's to say that it's not a gene therapy, it's a vaccine, is absurd. It's a gene therapy platform technology,
yeah.
applied to vaccination. But it could also be applied to many other things.
Yeah, so what happened you raised a hell of a discussion, they say. And were you very much attacked by the labs or by the medias or what? I mean, what happened when you begin to say, well, this is toxic? Because you were saying, no, he's a liar or he's not. Or they cannot deny your diplomas, they cannot deny your knowledge.
But they did. They did. There was a very concerted effort to delegitimize me and to assert that these things, that my comments weren't valid, that I was not an expert, and in particular to deny the obvious, that spike is a toxin and that this is a gene therapy technology.
And it was the labs who launched that?
No.
Big Pharma?
No, I don't know. You can't really tell. Yeah. What did, so I wrote a whole book about this with my wife on psychological warfare. In an attempt to try to...
I saw the Joe Rogan experience when you went with Joe Rogan telling
about...
Yeah. So what's psychological warfare? Let's talk about that. That's interesting.
So psychological warfare, or Psy-war, is actually a core part of American military doctrine and UK military doctrine, and really throughout the world. And what's happened, this was the technology that was deployed to enable Arab Spring, all the regime change. Okay. The militaries of the world have, and this goes back to Sun Tzu. This is nothing new. This is ancient, right?
Right.
Psychological warfare.
He solved everything.
Yeah, psychological warfare is ancient. But the difference is that now we have digital technology. Now we have social media. Now we have communications. What French people may not appreciate is that the basis for many of the Silicon Valley giant social media companies is American intelligence. That these were originally created as weapons. We don't recognize that. We just see, I get free stuff.
Yeah, of course. I get Google, I get all this.
Yeah, what's not to like? Yeah. But these are all tools. They provide many things, but at the core, they're tools to gather and distribute information and control and channel information. Just like Wikipedia has become a tool like this.
Wikipedia is terrible.
So you ask who, one of the principles, core foundation principles in fifth generation warfare or psychological warfare. Sixth generation warfare is the targeted munitions, the missiles that are smart.
Yeah.
Seventh generation warfare is drones. Fifth generation warfare is psychological warfare. And one of the core principles in psychological warfare, or Psy-war, is that the recipient, the person being manipulated, which is of course all of us, is unaware of who's doing the manipulation. Now, I'm convinced that the pharmaceutical industry has assimilated the technology that was designed for warfare, for offshore combat against the Taliban, for instance. They've assimilated it as part of their standard marketing. So marketing and advertising and psychological warfare are kissing cousins. They come from the same root. And in fact, the 77th Brigade in the UK was created by going to UK advertising infrastructure in the commercial sector and bringing these people into the military to form the 77th Brigade, which has been at the center of a lot of this.
I never heard about the 77th Brigade.
Absolutely. So the 77th Brigade is a reconstituted brigade of the British military. that has pioneered a lot of this technology. In many ways,
Since when?
it goes back about a decade.
A decade, okay.
We talk about it in the book and the origins. And it was, a lot of this technology was developed in partnership between MI5 and British intelligence, British military, and the American military and American intelligence.
Okay.
And it was justified as necessary to counter the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, these insurgency, particularly Arab insurgencies. And because they had the power of the religious logic and enthusiasm of the local population.
And the will to die for go to heaven and everything, you know.
And so the Western militaries felt they had to have some way to counter that because they kept losing.
Right.
And so they came up with this technology for offshore combat. They used it in Arab Spring very successfully. And then, to their surprise, Brexit happened.
Right.
And Brexit, in a very real way, used the same technology to advance the interests of UKIP and Nigel. And then
So
as if that wasn't
Yes.
bad enough, then came Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump's first election was really made possible by taking advantage of the internet and social media and these tools and techniques. And then there was the awareness that there was a problem, that these things that had been developed for political warfare without non-kinetic warfare, it was learned through all of this.
Yeah, the
That
psyops.
you don't have to kill people. You can just control what information they get and what they're thinking.
Convince them by this way, not killing them. But, well, if there wasn't Trump, you wouldn't have Maha or Meha.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
As you know, the French are deep philosophers, and they know that many things come with strengths and weaknesses, good and bad, always at the same time.
But just Robert Malone, it's very interesting. When and how, mostly how, did the pharmaceutical industry, the people who work on the vaccines, because this was terrible. I mean, we remember it's 5 years ago. What's 5 years? It's nothing. And we say we must all be vaccinated. We must all be confined. We must, well, you know what happened. World experience. When did they think of applying all the psyops of the war psychology and the war to this experience? Was it Fauci? Was it before Fauci? I mean, how did it happen, the mechanic?
So neither you nor I are privileged to the strategies of the elite.
Right.
But what we can see are the artifacts. And so I try not to speculate about what Klaus Schwab is thinking or Yuval Harari.
But it's interesting.
But we have, or Bill Gates.
Or Bill Gates, absolutely.
But we have these artifacts. And one of those artifacts is Agenda 201. This important meeting held in conjunction with the CIA.
2019.
Correct.
Okay.
In the fall of 2019, right on the eve of the supposed initial outbreak in Wuhan. Right before it. Very strange.
Before it, yeah.
And all of these things in it, this is my answer to your question. Did they pre-plan this? Is that if you watch Agenda 201, you will see, and the video's still up there, you will see all these plans detailed out. This is what we're going to do. And they were done in a war game simulation.
Right.
where they had different people pretending different roles, diplomatic roles, media roles, military roles, and they defined the script. They taught influential people from all over the world what the script was going to be, and then they deployed it. Now, maybe that was just chance.
Yeah, could be. We cannot we cannot rule out that, but we have some. But how come? I mean, when you begin to have your fight and everything, how come? How would you, as an American, it's very interesting that we in Europe, when Trump came back and in re-election now in 2024. And he, we were absolutely sure he will never name Robert Kennedy because, Robert Kennedy is too far out, no problem. He named Robert Kennedy, and we know what's going on. Did you, you as a scientific, as an American citizen, did you expect what was going on so quickly? We're very, amazed about the time. I mean, 8 months. And the people are fighting like hell now, and the other are fighting like hell against Kennedy and all this.
Particularly the pharmaceutical industry and the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So I have a close friend of mine who was the original funder of Bobby Kennedy's campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
I first met Bobby when he asked for my help with the book, The Real Anthony Fauci.
Okay, yeah.
And I had gone to various places and venues with him, traveled with him. Mm-hmm. So we had become friends. And this other friend of mine, who loves the Mediterranean, by the way, came to me with some polling information that showed strong support for Bobby, and spoke to me about Bobby's interest in running for president. And so I was very supportive of that. My position was the only way that Bobby was going to be able to break through the media, which was so anti-Bobby Kennedy,
yeah, of course,
was to run for president, because when you run for president, they can't censor you in the same way.
You have the media cover. You must have the media cover. Yeah.
And so I said, for that reason alone, to get his message out, he should run. But it would be very brave. It would be a risk because, of course, the history of assassination. And so I supported it. Many other people supported it. The campaign moved forward. He originally ran as a Kennedy Democrat. Now, that's code word for a New Deal Democrat of the 60s, pre-Carter, pre-Reagan. And I was there for his kickoff in Boston for his campaign, and I'm more of a libertarian.
All right.
And so
the Rand Paul type?
Actually, I like Rand Paul quite a bit.
Yeah, he's interesting.
I would say also of the Austrian School of Economics perspective, like Javier Milei.
Okay.
But
Argentina.
But in any case,
but he didn't go on with the campaign at one time.
So Bobby, when I saw Bobby endorsing really old school New Deal Democrat Party principles, I backed off a little bit on the campaign. And Bobby asked for my endorsement, and I gently declined.
Okay.
Then lightning struck. So the Democrat Party would not allow him to run as a Democrat. So then he decided, there was another big decision that he ran as an independent, combined forces with Nicole Shanahan, who is the divorced wife of one of the founders of Google,
Yes,
very
yes,
wealthy, okay, and a traditional San Francisco Bay Democrat.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Which is different. Yeah.
and then that proceeded in as an independent, and he just was getting a little bit of the vote. And then the assassination attempt on President Trump.
That's
with
where
the bullet.
that's where it. Yeah, of course.
With the bullet.
Fight.
And Bobby and Charlie Kirk was very involved in this. Bobby reached out and connected to President Trump with his heart.
That was the moment.
That was the moment. But what
yeah.
we recently learned was that 20 years ago, Donald Trump had reached out to Bobby and connected with him to talk about autism. We learned about this in the recent press conference, where Donald Trump was so enthusiastic about coming out, being able to have this conference and talk about autism and the role of acetaminophen. We learned that they actually had this long relationship.
They met and they
Yeah. So then Bobby reached out to him with his heart, facilitated by Charlie Kirk, and that led to this strange union of left and right, right?
Yeah, the Kennedy Democrat and the Trump
Maha, right?
Maha, yeah.
So we had the Maha and MAGA.
Right.
MAGA from the right, Maha from the left, come together. And what that did is it broke off part of the Democrat coalition.
Right.
And President Trump might have won, but he wouldn't have won at that level.
Yeah. He won the popular vote, not only the great electors. But okay, Robert Malone. Now we are October 16th, 2025. How is going Maha in the fight now in the United States? Okay, we'll talk about Maha, but Maha is going. Is succeeding, is advancing, because we thought, maybe it's too early, that the Faucis and other will be maybe pursued or judged, or is it really? Yeah, we thought about that. We say, I really don't know what happened today. It's not conspiracy theories. It's so. How is Maha doing now?
So what happened with Fauci? Is that as President Biden was heading out the door, asleep, the Autopin, pardoned Fauci for all his crimes going back years, whatever those crimes were. Okay, so now we have a problem. He can't really be prosecuted. What he can do is be called to testify, because he can no longer invoke the Fifth Amendment or protection against self-incrimination, because he's already been pardoned. So that legal pathway is still open, but not to hold him accountable. There's what matters, and everything is moving so fast. The news cycle and the political cycle is just going like this in the health space. And
because it's not, I'm sorry, which is just not the vaccines only, not COVID and everything, but on the health, obesity, the death rate, and everything. Autism, exactly.
Contaminants in food, dyes, artificial dyes, at the high level. What happened that matters is that, and I'm going to step back for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
many of us are not happy about Operation Warp Speed, which gave the RNA vaccines.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you take a step back
Yes.
and you say, what did President Trump do? Operation Warp Speed was almost unique in American politics because in the American government, maybe the French government too, we have this problem of silos. This agency or department doesn't play with this agency or department, and they fight over the budget and everything else, okay? It's just it's bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, of course. Of course.
So President Trump, with Operation Warp Speed, said, no, we're going to have a whole of government response. And you and you and you are all going to play nice with each other and get the job done. So you had Health and Human Services working with Department of Defense, for better or for worse. It happened. Now, I object to the work product because they failed to respect human rights. They failed to respect informed consent. They failed to respect international regulatory guidance for vaccines and for gene therapies. Okay, so many things happened, but the organization was that Trump did was that was a major moment in American political history.
Right. Which was was the first time that it worked like that.
Really, it really was, and it took his. This is something the French appreciate. Also, is sometimes you need a strong leader.
Of course.
So
we need a strong leader. Now we don't have it. We don't have it. Let's be very clear.
But so now in the present, once again, President Trump has created a commission called the Maha Commission that is across all of government.
Great.
And
you're in it.
No. That's
not
above my level. I'm at the ACIP, which is down here. That's fixing the CDC.
Yeah. And so the commission.
So the commission has come together across all of government, focused on health, and particularly children's health. As we talk about what brings President Trump and Bobby Kennedy together, what is their common ground?
Right.
They are both very concerned about children's health. It's at the core.
So important.
Okay?
Essential.
Yeah. And so the Maha Commission is focused on protecting Americans' health, but in particular, protecting the health of American children.
Right.
The data show that the current generation of American children will live shorter, sicker lives than their parents.
Yeah, incredible.
That has to stop. Yeah. I hear even the same thing might be true in Europe.
Yeah, it's incredible. We say we advance, progress, and the children will live far less than their parents.
Why is this happening? So it appears that a lot of it has to do with corporatism and the effects of
food and everything.
And it's not just vaccines. It's all of these things. It's pharmaceuticals. It's the overuse of antipsychotics. It is, we are treating our children for what are being diagnosed as psychiatric disease with attention deficit disorder and many of these other things, depression. We're treating them with drugs rather than recognizing that, for instance, maybe they need to play outside a little bit more, particularly the boys. But so they created this commission. The commission had an initial task of reporting on the problems, the nature of the problem.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? So this was a threat assessment. And then having issued that report, which was unprecedented again in American history.
Very interesting.
Then they put out a report of what are we going to do about it. And then they're starting to act on it. Now remember, we're still in the first year.
Yeah.
Okay?
9 months. 9 months.
And so they've assessed the problems. They've come up with a plan for what to do about the problems. Now they're implementing the plan. And
they're implementing now. They're in the phase of implementing.
Absolutely, absolutely. In many different ways. And one of those ways is reformation of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The CDC.
One of the things,
infamous CDC.
One of the things that's happening, because the CDC has fallen down. And as you know, the CDC...
Corruption? Could we say...
corruption is such an easy word. It has to do with a combination of things. One is the nature of the data.
Yeah.
Because Americans are not a socialized medicine system. And we have privacy rules for medical information. It makes it very hard for the CDC to gather information in the way that, say, the Scandinavian countries do. Scandinavian countries' epidemiology is very good, maybe the best in the world, because they have all of this access to patient records. In the United States, we don't have it. But there's also some built-in strong cultural biases at the CDC. And those cultural biases are very aligned with UN Agenda 2030, the WHO, the pandemic treaty.
So the Commission is breaking all that?
Absolutely. So it's what CDC falls under Bobby.
Right.
So Bobby has responsibility for changing the culture of the CDC.
Okay.
And what's also being done that matters to the people of France and Europe and the rest of the world is that the president has decided to withdraw from the World Health Organization because basically it's corrupt.
Right.
It's corrupted by the Central Communist Party of China, among others. And the
Mr.
pharmaceutical
and Mrs. Bill
industry.
Gates.
Yeah.
Great donors, as you know.
Precisely. That we could go down that rabbit hole of what's gone wrong with the WHO, but it's wrong. And it's not aligned with the core principles of the Trump administration.
He's dismantling that now.
And as part of that dismantling, some of the responsibilities for international health that formerly went to the CDC are now getting transferred over to the Department of State under Marco Rubio.
Okay.
So the State Department now, this is one of the changes.
I see.
So instead of allowing this agency that is down the stack to be driving American international health, together with USAID, by the way, which USAID is gone now.
It's gone now,
Okay?
Incredible
with
story.
all of their propaganda and media control and fifth generation warfare and Psy-war and all that, the USAID.
You know that they financed USAID, financed Agence France Presse with her main media agency.
Yeah, I know.
They financed,
I know.
You know, but,
and the Democrats, by the way, in shutting down the government right now, are fighting to get money back for that kind of media control. They need that media information control. So when we talk about psychological warfare, they are become dependent on it. It's like a drug.
Great fight.
Okay, and so now you have this being pulled out of the CDC, elevated up to the State Department, and now the State Department is going to be negotiating bilateral agreements, just like the bilateral trade agreements. There's going to be bilateral health agreements where the United States will partner with other nation states to support their efforts to promote health and well-being. But the goal is the observation is that the policies of the United States historically have created a dependency. And what the under Secretary of State Marco Rubio, what is being done is to establish that the goals are going to be to partner and enable other nation states to become more capable and self-sufficient themselves, as opposed to dependent on,
That's the core of
the imperial government of Washington, D.C.
Robert Malone, last questions. I want to know, you think that because we are now in Brussels, we're in Europe, you think that the rules are that what's going in the United States could function in Europe, in the nation states of Europe, at the same method?
So, as I said in my talk yesterday, I don't presume or pretend to understand the nuances of European government, but I have certainly had the opportunity through the Make Europe Healthy Again, Make Europe Great Again movement and others.
Right.
I've spoken repeatedly in Romania, really across Europe, often in Rome. I'll be in Rome again shortly. And I've spoken here at the European Parliament multiple times. So I've had an opportunity to learn from the Europeans about aspects of their system,
Right.
to learn, for instance, from my friends at Alliance for Deutschland about the European Council and how it is fundamentally not democratic. And
We're at the core of the reactor here, you know.
the belly of the beast.
Belly of the beast. Ursula.
And so I learned from this that the European Union Charter, has this section, important section, that talks about the principle of subsidiarity.
Right.
And I make the argument that, for instance, the principle of subsidiarity applies to the level of the physician-patient relationship. The patient is the most competent, lowest level decision maker and
Very
should
good.
be in control of their own healthcare decisions. And this overbearing European Council, Ursula von der Leyen, centralized authority that is being built here.
And preventing the doctors to cure. You know that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have the patient and the doctor, and the doctor cannot cure.
Absolutely mismanaged the COVID crisis. And from that, we learn their intrinsic problems, just the same as the WHO.
Right, right.
And so do I think that, what I think is that our experiences in the United States with MAHA can help inform European decisions.
Of course.
But it has to be Europeans solving European problems. Can't be, we don't need more ugly Americans. We don't need the United States telling Europe how to handle its business.
Right.
We need to partner with, as good partners, as earnest partners, to enable all of us to be healthy and free.
To be healthy again and free. Thank you, Dr. Malone. Very, very interesting, and you put the right words on our right misgoings and misdoings. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.